So this afternoon, I just want to share a few things. Um, Maybe have a conversation. So please engage me. I'm not a speaker, as it were, I'm more of an entrepreneur. So don't see this as a public speaking engagement. I want to see it as a conversation. So can we have a conversation? Okay, amazing. Now, if you watch the video, you find out that most of what I've done in the last 13 years, thereabout, is around creating content and marketing. So I'm pretty much a marketing person, a content creation person, and then I'm building technology now, which is what I've been doing in the last 4 years. And oh boy, it is stressful. It is. Okay, so for my topic today, I think there's a topic there, but what I would speak about is how do you create a digital footprint for global relevance? Because I think that when I meet people, most people are actually super smart. Like, I learn a lot from everyone I meet. And one of the things I speak to them about is, look, this is your story, you should share it. And they're like, where? How? How do I teach people what I know? I've met amazing people, great experience, either in the venture capital world or raising funds or angel investors or, entrepreneurs who can really help other people get results. And I'm like, share your ideas. They're like, well, I wrote a book. Okay, you wrote a book. How many copies have you sold? They're like, well, I sold 10 and I still have the rest. What are you doing with it? I don't know. So my job, which is what I do now, is to see and help people spread great ideas. And I've done this using online courses. So I'm going to ask a few questions if you want to engage me. Does anyone here have an online course? Have you created an online course? Okay, you have one. Anyone else? Okay, you have an online course. You've created one. Oh, you have an online course. 3 people. Okay. Has anyone here written a book? Okay, so you've written books. Maybe books. Okay, excellent. So I'm fascinated about, the way ideas spread. And how do you create a digital footprint? Because that's basically what has helped me in all my businesses, right? And I leverage one to grow the other. I'm a bootstrapping entrepreneur. Yeah, I do have an investor, 2 investors for the technology side because technology is expensive. But all my other businesses I had to build from scratch. So, first.
It's with.
Okay. The first question I like to ask people is, do you believe that there's a problem in the world with your name on it? A problem that you're convinced that either it's not been solved at all, no one is concerned, or it's not solved properly. So there are people that talk about families, and they're like, I see marriages break up, and I can help them. Okay, how am I sure you can help them? Well, I've helped people in my church or within my circle, right? A marriage was about to go to divorce, I was able to help them. There's a problem there. There's a name on it. So have you come to a place where you feel that there is something that I'm supposed to solve in the world, and I think I'm the only one that can do it? Now, it's been done, right? Nothing is new, but I can solve it differently. I can make it better. I can get people to their results faster. I see people stuck in jobs. They've been there 20 years, 25 years, and they don't know what to do. They literally don't know what to do to get another job. People cannot transit from one career to the other. That's a big problem. So I'd ask again, do you think that there is a problem that you've been created to solve on earth? Anyone? Convinced? Yeah? Let's have a show of hands. Okay, excellent. Now, do you believe that there are people who have that problem? Okay, and they exist. Okay. Do they know about you? Question is, not enough of them. So the question is, why? It's a big question. Why is it that not enough of the people that have been called to serve know about me? It's a big problem. And this is what I think that the greatest problem in the world is the fact that people have solutions, and those people who need the solutions can't just access them. And acquiring customers is now very expensive. Advertising is expensive, which is basically the solution to reach those people. So the question is, how can we creatively acquire customers? In fact, I shouldn't have built technology, honestly. I should have stayed a content creator or wedding photographer. I really loved my life. You saw those photos, right? The wedding photos. Do you like them? Oh, I enjoy weddings. I love weddings. And I was super good at it. So, but building technology has taught me something, that the business of selling the digital product is actually a business of acquiring customers, period. Whoever can acquire the most customers for the lowest cost will win. So the moment you can acquire customers faster at a cheaper price, you're in business. Do you agree? Okay. So the question is, how do we do that? So I'll share a few ideas here. Just have about 10 lines of stuff to discuss. I'll probably stop once it's my time. I don't think I'll go through everything because I also want to give time for us to ask questions. Okay? All right. So the first thing you need to understand, and a bit of this goes into branding and how you communicate, is what is the core of what I do? We're going somewhere. So you need to decide what's the core of what I do. So I see people will say, they create generic services. They say, I'm a customer service expert. Well, you're a customer service expert, but what's the core? The core is that you help organizations acquire and retain customers in the seamless way possible. So whereas, if you say you're a customer service expert, what you've done is you've done basically what every consultant is doing. So when I speak to consultants and when I coach coaches, they say, well, this is what I do. I'm an expert in this, I'm an expert in that. And I say, look, every coach and consultant has a list of services. So you use customer service, they say, okay, customer service training, customer service experience, we can work with your team for 6 months to help you implement. It's just a list of services. But the question is, how do you move from that into creating an offer? Because people have products and services, but products and services don't sell. Offers is what sells. And the thing with offers is that it takes a different mindset. It takes a mindset that doesn't think of just who you are or what you do. It takes the mindset to think about the customer, of what problem are they trying to solve. I learned this building startups. And that requires us to do something. That's one thing that most of us do not do. And it's a Japanese word that I'm fascinated with. It's called Genchi Gembutsu, which means go see for yourself. It's the Toyota principle. So every Toyota brand that is created, they basically get a manager to go and experience what the customers go through every day. So you have a manager fly from Tokyo and fly to somewhere in Africa or fly somewhere in the US and spend 7 days with who? With the customers who use the same model of Toyota. And say, and they book this appointment, take me on a trip with you. You're going on a family trip? Excellent, let's go together. So he goes with them and just studies what they do. And then he realizes that, the kids were all, they needed space, they were in a car, and that's what bettered the Toyota Sienna. And then they created space in between it, just so that when they go on holidays, the kids can find a place, or when they go on a long drive, the kids can move around. So deep innovation comes not from being smart or being clever, but from talking to the customers. So that's the first thing we need to do. If you decide your brand, and I always say a brand is simply two things. People try to complicate brands and say, well, to build a brand, you have to do this 100 list of things. No. I think a brand is two things, your identity and your promise, period. So identity can come with how you appear, your office space, your logo, your website, and all those things. They fall under identity. The promise is, what's your promise to your customer? So I don't want to make a promise to say, well, I'm a customer care experience person or a customer care expert, and I want to help you solve this problem. No, I want to say, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to help you retain your customers. 80 to 90% of the customers over 5-10 years. I'm going to do a few things for you. That's a clear promise. So you have to think about converting everything you do into one promise. And you would see the reason why, because this is how you're going to reduce your costs. So sometimes when I see people advertise, because I look at ads a lot on social media, I enjoy it. I pretty much enjoy ads much more than just seeing free content. So I want to see how people communicate, because I'm obsessed with how customers behave and how customers make purchase decisions. This is really what I spend most of my time doing, just buying psychology, customer psychology. How do people make decisions to buy? And I learned some really amazing things, that people don't even buy some things based on what they think they need. They just buy based on how they feel. Based on how they feel. And so creating a feeling has to be part of your marketing strategy as a business, as a coach, or as a consultant. So we've spoken about Genchi Gambutsu, which is go see for yourself. And so you need to wonder, and say, how then do I take this idea and transport it? And you need to do just 4 things: content, trust, traffic, funnel. So you may want to write that down. CTTF. I call it the CTTF formula. This idea and this problem that you believe you've been created to solve, as soon as you make it clear and you make it into a promise, you then need to create a content, usually a video content, about that promise. So you understand the customers, you understand their pain point, and you put it into a promise. A promise is simply one sentence that speaks clearly, razor sharp, on the exact solution you deliver and the way you solve it. And you do what? You create content about it. You find traffic for it, especially using Facebook, Instagram, and Google Ads. You make sure that that content enables you to build trust. And how do you build trust? You reduce friction. So sometimes I see businesses, they create content, but that content, the process to reach you is so long. You're talking about the Amazon process, the onboarding process. How quickly does it take to get a customer, to get to the product? So you reduce that journey. So in the startup world, it's called customer journey. We had to revamp our onboarding again to make sure that people can create, a website in 2 minutes once they get to the website, to our platform. Initially, it was about 6 minutes. We brought it down to 2 minutes. So how do you reduce the friction? You create a simple funnel. What's a funnel? A landing page online. Because I believe that sometimes we're trying to sell to customers that are close to us because we're buyers. So what we're trying to do is go to conferences, attend events, go to churches, the people that are close, and try to sell things to them. But your customers might be on the other side of the world. If you think deep about the problem, you might find out that there's a customer for you waiting in Canada, there's a customer waiting for you in the US, in the UK, or in Nigeria, or in any country. So having that mindset then means that you've got to think global. Okay? I'm going to show you a trick to do this. I don't share this all the time, but we'll get there, and I'll share this with you. If you're interested in going on this journey, especially how to use Google and Facebook ads, this is pretty much what we did for brands for many years. I used to run a marketing agency. I still do, but I have a manager running that now because I no longer have time to do. And some of our clients were like Nestle, and we were selling all sorts of things. You have to do CTTF, content, trust, traffic, funnel. How do you do trust? You reduce the friction to get to you. And then you find the right traffic from Facebook, Google, and you target the right people, and then funnel. You set up a small funnel. Funnel is a landing page, maybe 2 landing pages, to say, this is what I'm going to do for you, and this is how to get it, in 2 simple steps. The fourth thing you need to do is to look at the core. Okay, we've spoken about the core of what you do. And then you need to ask yourself, again, when creating your product, is what fulfills me as a person? You need to know that. And who am I? I think that what defines a person, right, or what a person becomes, is guided by 2 things. Pretty much what you do with your body, which is quite interesting, and what you focus on. This is what determines our results. It's interesting that our physiology influences us 78%, what you do with your body. So if you go to the gym, so sometimes when I want to run a marketing campaign or at the beginning of the year, I want to have a strategy with my team, I just make sure that I'm active. I hit the gym, I play football, I play tennis, and that just gives me a lot of energy and ideas begin to flow. And sometimes I realize that the food that I eat in the morning, and the moment I eat those food, the day is gone. So I had to do what? I had to change what I eat, my diet. Because there's food that you eat in the morning, and it improves your performance as a person. And that helps you to be motivated and excited. So what we do with our body on a daily basis affects where we're going in life. The second thing is what we focus on. So some people focus on the present, some focus on the future, some focus on the past. Where you want to be is to focus on the future, give or take 70%, and focus on the present, 30%. Why? And some people say, well, why do I need to focus on the future? Like, why do I need to spend a lot of time thinking about the future? Why don't I live in the moment? Well, guess what? The future is going to be your present tomorrow. So it makes more sense to spend time thinking about the future and thinking about possibilities than to spend time thinking about the past and your mistakes and your regrets. Now, a few years ago, after about 10 years of running my business, I got a job. Never had a CV, didn't have a certificate. So I have a certificate, but I don't know where it is. Pretty much somewhere inside one of the folders that I still don't know where it is. And I've never had to put a CV together because I just started out as an entrepreneur, started out with photography and film. And so a few years ago, I had to get a job. I got a job marketing in an oil and gas company. I someone to join the marketing team. Everyone was excited, fantastic team. And I enjoyed working. But 3 months after, I had to leave this job. And the reason was simple. I just realized that, at some point, I was pretty much done with work by 12 p.m. And then I would go to my manager and say, well, do I have capacity? Is there something else we need to do? And I'm like, no, well, I'll get you something. And then the day one, and then weeks after, it's like there's not much to do. And I just go bored. I was like, I don't want to live the rest of my life like this. There's more to do. But the real problem for me was the fact that it was oil and gas company, the pay was good, the people were amazing, but I didn't care about the problem. We're in the oil and gas industry, we're using chemicals and creating polymers and exhibiting around the world. I really didn't care about the sector. I didn't care about the oil and gas industry so much. I care about people, solving problems for people. And I left the job, and that taught me two things. I learned two key lessons from that experience, is that no matter where you are today, your circumstances will change. Doesn't matter. So you might be in a very good place today, and sometimes when I speak to business owners and I say, what's your exit plan? They're like, exit? I don't plan to exit this business. I love this business. I want to continue to do it for the rest of my life. But I realized that I used to be excited, so excited by camera gear, photography, film. I had gadgets, for film, for photography. And every time I bought a new gadget, new camera, I go out and shoot, and it was so exciting. But today, I'm no longer excited so much about that. I'm excited about the possibilities of it, but not the actual job. So your excitement will change. I spoke to a professor recently, and he said to me, well, I'm now a professor. I'm almost a VC of a university. I don't find excitement anymore. I'm like, wait, you're 56. You're a professor. Like, how can you not find excitement in that? And he wanted to do something else. So it doesn't matter where you are today. Your life may be really great and amazing, but guess what? Your circumstance will change, and you should prepare for that. You should. It might be health, it might be family, it might be work, you might have to migrate. Anything can happen. One thing can change like this, and you have to walk a different path. The second lesson I learned from this is what I really wanted as a person. What do I really want? Freedom. And I figured that the freedom that I wanted was freedom of choice. The freedom to be able to choose the problems I solve and the audience that I solve it for. That's what I really wanted. The freedom to be able to choose. And for you, it might be different. It might be the freedom to wake up when you want, to decide where you want to go at any time. But it's really freedom. Now, I get it when Yamo was speaking about, people working in a place for 20, 30, 40 years doing the same thing. And to be honest, I think there's two sides to it. Wait, can I ask a question? How many people believe that, yes, people should work in places for 20, 25 years? That's okay. Let's see. Okay? Yeah, right? Okay, if they want to. Okay. How many people believe that, wait a minute, 25 years is really too long? Okay, now let me tell you, I'm on both sides of the coin. You know why? As an entrepreneur building businesses, I do want people to stay in my business for 25 years, to be honest. I don't want them to leave. But I left my job 3 months after. So it's interesting, isn't it? That, but what I think is that people want the power and the freedom to choose. But sometimes they don't have the resources to take the action that they need to take. And sometimes they don't have the knowledge, sometimes they don't have the energy. And that there are people that God has created, that the universe has blessed with the skill to help people transit career. They're life coaches that God has inspired to help people navigate life. Because some people don't know how to. Some people are stranded. And so the question for you and I today is, how do we choose to help people other than ourselves? Now, the vehicle that I have found personally, and I'm rounding up now, okay, the vehicle that I found personally is online courses. So I've created 22 online courses, but guess what? I haven't written any book. Because I prefer to speak, and I had resources, I had the cameras, I had the team, editors, everything, so I enjoyed it. And so I took 3 years out, created lots of online courses, and I sold them online. And so what I'm going to do is that for those who might be interested in creating online courses, I'm going to share some tips with you now on how to do it and a few things that work. So the first thing is understand the business model. Whatever amount you want to make from selling online courses, Facebook or Google is going to take half. Yeah, and I tell people this, and they're like, wait a minute. Okay, are you sure about this? I'm like, look, we've done this for years for different people. They will take half. They've got good algorithm. Once a purchase is made, because you've got to install pixels and stuff, once a purchase is made, they know. And half of your cost, right, will be in advertisement, getting people to buy it. The second thing, which is the numbers business, I'm talking about the numbers now, how to figure out the numbers. Because if people don't know what it takes, sometimes the result looks aloof to them, and they just don't know. Okay? So my job is to sort of share ideas on what it takes. The second thing is, what's the right price point to put your online course? Now, there's been great prices. $9.99 or pounds is a good price. $29.99 is a good price. $49.99 is a good price. Anything after $49.99 globally, conversion drops. So the question, therefore, is, how should I price my online course? The best price to use is you should charge the highest possible until the conversion begins to drop. What do I mean? So if you sold your online course for $29.99, for example, and you find out that every day you're making 10 people are buying consistently, 10 people. If you move the price to $49.99 and you still get 10 people, what's the right price? $49.99. Now move the price to £55 and you get 5 people. What's the best price? Exactly, $49.99. So what you want to do is you want to find that sweet spot. And the online course business is a dailies game. You've got to play it every day. You've got to look at your numbers every day. So which is why when people say, well, I don't want to invest so much in it, you only need to invest like £50 a day and see what comes in that day. If you can make £100 a day, it's good business. And you keep that running every day. If it stops running, so we've done this, and sometimes I keep selling one course, one ad for 3 months, 6 months. I leave the ad on because it's making money every day until there's something called a lag and it stops. And then you have to refresh your content again. So that's the business. My first online course, I sold it at $3.20. Just $3 was a course on Facebook ads. I sold 20,000 copies. 20K, Oh, thank you. So intentionally, we did that. And I'll tell you why we did that. There is something you have to do if you want to go online, either with your business or selling digital products. You need pixels. So what's a pixel? The biggest problem is, how do I find the people that are mine? Facebook is big, Instagram is big, right? So the biggest problem you're going to have is, how do I really know my audience? And how do I filter them out from the online space? Okay, so we have a process in the company called sieving the chaff, right? And what we do is, we call it the picker beans model. That is, you just pick the beans and just remove the people that are not yours. So what you do is you install what is called a pixel on your landing page. When you install your pixel, you send the right traffic there. So you send everybody to the first landing page. Now, the people that buy and take action, you take them to another landing page, okay? But because you have a pixel on the first landing page, what Facebook does is that it maps their footprint. So imagine you run an ad on Instagram. 10,000 people see it, but only 500 people click. What's the implication of that click? Interest. It shows that they are at least interested. That's the first step, okay? That 500 is your actual audience. So what you then do is that you create another video, and you do what is called a remarketing campaign to just that 500, that's where value is. So the bigger the traffic, that is the size of the audience that sees it. So if you have 100,000 people see your video, I have a video that's been seen about 8 million times on Facebook using ads. So if you have like 100,000 people see your video, and maybe 5,000 of those people click to the first landing page, because you have the pixel there. I'm surprised when I see people run ads and they don't have what is called a pixel. On Google, it's called the Google Tag Manager. So you have those people there. What you then need to do is, you need to now remarket and spend more money talking to those 5,000. Automatically, you've removed 95,000 people that are not interested in your first campaign, and you focus on just that 5,000 because that's where the value is. So if you do that, that's the audience you should sell what is called an high-ticket product to, because they're the most people likely to take action. So how do you sell knowledge online? The two things we found. Online course is a good way, but you must have an high-ticket coaching program. So high-ticket coaching program. Now, I know that most people here are experts in what they do, so I'm not going to talk about being an expert in what you do, but I'm going to share a few things. What makes an high-ticket coaching program work is that it solves a problem, period. It gets people from point A to where they want to be. That's it. And that problem has to be clear up front. I see. That problem has to be what? Clear up front. Now, how do you make a product that stands out? Because people are like, well, there's somebody else doing the same thing. But how do you make it a difference? Why? How do you separate yourself from being like others? So I call this the failure point, or the point of failure. Now, what does point of failure means? Every product has a point of failure. I'll give an example. So look at cars, for example. A point of failure for cars is the brake system. If the brake of your cars don't work, will you drive the car? No, it's automatic accident, isn't it? That's the point of failure. If you look at Harvard, let's look at the entire business model of Harvard University. It's simply brilliant student, amazing professors, good teaching method, period. What that means is that if Harvard does not have the best professors possible, the students will not get the great value. The standard reduces. If they can't enroll the best students, it means you have weak students coming, the output might not be great, which therefore means that Harvard has to innovate across 3 points, which is enrolling the student and hiring the professors, and then the teaching methodology. And that's why Professor Christopher Columbus, in 1890, created the case method teaching style, which is what is now popular in most institutions. But Harvard started it. And that's why Harvard is different. They teach with the case method style. They innovated across those points of failure. If you go through the recruiting process of Harvard, you'll see that it's different. So as a coach, therefore, to create an high-ticket program, you need to ask yourself, what does it take for me to get results for these people? And what are the points of failure? Where is it that if we miss it, we don't get this result? That's where you should innovate, because that's where you create a difference. The moment you innovate at that point, that's why the next person can't get your result. So if you look at cars, that's why you have the ABS system. What's the failure point of government? Control. A government that lacks control has failed. And how does the government innovate with that? Licenses. So they look at the industry, the oil and gas, you must have a license to operate there. Look at the banking sector, you have to have a license. And they innovate with laws. So they create tax laws and create incentives. So you have to, every good product has a point of failure. And so point of failures give us opportunities to innovate, and that's how we stand out in our business. I think I'll stop here for now. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause for Mr. Daniel Folley, a friend that has also become a brother. I mean, we started working together closely recently, and this is the 3rd or 4th conference it is that we're doing together.
Yeah.
So we started working together in Liverpool. We did the Liverpool conference together. You came into Dublin to the Dublin conference together, and then we are here together. Okay, so I'll talk a bit more about that very shortly. But any questions? Questions? Going? I was hoping not.
Thank you so much. So, as a consultant and a coach, I'm very interested in online courses. So, you've created 22, you said?
Yeah.
Right. So, if you don't mind, approximately how much money have you made from those 22 courses over the period of time you've had them? Approximately.
I think we said it in that
Yeah, it was
video
on the
about
video.
100,000.
Sorry, I wasn't in
How,
here.
how many? How many
I've done
thousand?
more than 500K.
$500,000.
Right,
Yeah.
okay, sorry.
Yes.
Apologies, I wasn't in here. Right,
Yes.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, I definitely need you on my camp.
Okay.
Now he's very much around till the end of today, so you can, have a chat with him afterwards. And he came very well, so he came with his family as well. His wife is here. Say hi. Yes, I'm putting you on the spot, and his kids are over there as well. Yes, yes. All right. Another question here. Okay.
I was just wondering about the diversity of those 22 courses.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's so many courses to have had to have created from scratch, and
Yeah.
probably quite a big subject matter to cover.
Yeah.
What's the breadth like? What sort of topics do you cover in those 22 courses? Are they all like distinct, separate subjects?
Good
And
question.
how did you start to create those?
Yeah, so I created them across specifically 3 sectors: content, marketing, entrepreneurship. So I have a course that covers all 5 forms of content: photography, video, copywriting, graphic design, and voiceover recording. So that's 5 courses. And then I have marketing: Facebook ads, Google ads, marketing strategy, how do you create marketing content. Then entrepreneurship. So I have a course on borderless entrepreneurship, how to sell, how to set up your marketing, how to build a brand, and things like that. So I created them across those 3 sectors, which are basically the areas that I have a skill sets for. So the good thing is that when I created each of those courses, then I sold them at some point as a bundle. So, which is also a good thing that sells, a good strategy. You can create, so some people want to create very big courses. And I'm like, no, don't create a big course that teaches everything about customer experience. Just talk about one thing. Create a course about it, right? Give value on that one thing, and then break it into piecemeals. Then you can later give it as a bundle. So the course I sold, Facebook, for £3.20, I put it in a bundle. I sold it at $49.99. Later, sold 10,000 copies of that. Yeah, maybe 12,000. Yeah, over 3 years. Yeah. Yeah. So I called it the Ultimate Online Marketing Bundle. Fantastic course. I sold it in the middle of COVID. We didn't fire anybody in the company. Everybody was pretty much in the company. Lived in the office throughout COVID.
All right. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Going. Please, on the online communities, do you have any questions there? Going. Gone. All right. Thank you very much. A round of applause for Mr. Daniel Folley. Can I have his award, please? Just hang on, Mr. Daniel. We have an award for you as well.